Welcome to the Healing Table. Today we are talking about the selfish silo. Healing is important. Doing your work matters. But what happens when your healing journey becomes so internal that you forget there is another person trying to walk beside you? Sometimes we spend so much time processing, reflecting, and making sense of our own story that we forget to invite someone else into the conversation. Today, we explore what it means to heal without isolating, to communicate before assumptions take over, and to make room for both people's journeys. Pull up a chair and let's talk about it.
All right, folks, I want to kick off this conversation with y'all. Now, we all talk about having done the work, which we all know is actually an active state of doing the work. And I think when we say we've done the work, we're acknowledging that I'm not in the same place I was. I'm now in a different space. We're not saying at all that we're done doing the work. But as I've thought about the healing process, two things that sort of stand out to me, I want to get y'all sort of thoughts on. One is living, doing, being, trying to accomplish all your goals, manage all the external stuff in your life. Doing all of that while also actively trying to modify your thinking, a framing point, a behavior, a whatever. And then the second part of that is, as we're going through the healing process, how do you bring somebody along the journey as you are actively trying to figure out what better looks like for you in the first place? So these are two things that kind of sort of go around in the Growfessor's mind that I kind of go, you know what, if there's a couple of folks I want to have this conversation with, it's these two brothers right here. So y'all can take either one. It's whatever order y'all want to go in. All I got to say is I'm at the healing table asking for some.
I can start us off. Go for it, man.
Go
like when you're saying all that, like what instantly came in my mind is like, one, healing's messy. And I understand that. And I've done a lot of work, especially after a divorce and things like that. I really worked on me. And sometimes I feel like I'm the only person. So please correct me or please confirm that I'm not the only person. But my girl now will do something that will trigger me. And I'm trying really hard not to bring old insecurities and problems from the previous relationship into this brand new beautiful relationship, and I don't respond, but it doesn't mean I didn't feel it. Am I the only person that's happening to? I did everything right, but like it still hurts to say. So thoughts? No.
I got another example.
Yeah, no, go for it, girl. I'm still pondering a little bit here.
That's what I was picking up on. Even the example of one day I was frustrated. Didn't have anything to do with, just random. It's just a day. And I took it out on my way. With a, well, are you going to do it or should I do it? You know, it's kind of like that tone. Are you going to do it or I can do it? Because I can just do it. About 5 minutes passed, and I'm like, you know what, now that was wrong. Where you get all this energy from? Like what we doing here? So I go back in there, and in front of everybody who sort of heard this conversation, I say, look, so I owned it. It's accountable for. I'm thinking, now you're demonstrating growth. You recognize as soon as 5 minutes versus not recognizing or even longer. But hey, 5 minutes too long, but still progress. That was not the reaction on it was as if, well, you intentionally did this. You intentionally made me the person that you crashed out on and you're sort of thinking, I'm going, I see where you're coming from. And I tried to grab it as quick as I could. I can't take it back. And she communicates something to me. And she says, yeah, you owned it, but something was missing. I didn't actually sit with how it felt for her, with her. And so in healing, when I talk about that external, I was so focused on, hey, you know what,
Yeah.
that there's somebody else going, wait a minute, you missed this part of the interaction. So even in healing, I'm going, I'm trying, lessons, and when you talk about messy, but it still feels like I had to catch myself from going, feel like I still did something wrong.
Now I'm in trouble.
Versus as I sort of try to navigate towards, I'm still learning. Did I catch what she was dropping off, which was the piece of, yeah, I just needed to just acknowledge how I felt and let that breathe versus running to, hey, I caught myself. Yeah, I realized I did it, but I caught myself. Right, that pat on the back was versus, so in him, balancing, sitting with it, patting yourself on the back, acknowledging, but also seeing that in the moment, I still got work to do.
Yeah. You know what? It made me think of a silo, right? And in a silo, right, you think of in the work world, right? Don't collaborate in a silo. You're in a silo. You got to, right? You think of that. I think healing tends to live in a silo at times. Your own silo, right? And in that silo lives all your stuff, and you're thinking about it. And sometimes what you made me think of when you were saying that, girl, it makes me think of sometimes where I will come to my wife about something, and it's in my head all day. It's in my silo. It lives in there. It echoes. So I'm thinking other people are hearing it, especially her. Especially her.
You better
right? Because you're my soulmate. You better know this. You should feel it, right? And I'll go to her and I'll be like, blah, 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 blah. And she'll be like, what the hell was that? She's like, babe, you're telling me half the story. I don't know it, right? And I think part of it, right, is, and we're all in our own healing space. And my wife she's in her healing journey as well. And I think the beautiful thing about marriage, especially when it pairs up like that and you're all going in these, it really does live in its own silo. And then when it merges together, those two pieces, right? It allows, for me, in my humble opinion, it allows marriage to actually see it a little differently, see that silo come out and it becomes a shared space, right? And why I'm saying that is there's the silo aspect of what I think of and what I'm thinking and what I'm going through. And then I say some shit and I'm like, oh, damn, did I just say that? But she didn't know I was even thinking about that, right?
Yeah.
And then there's the point where she, in her own space, in her own healing journey, in her own silo, exactly. You see what I'm saying? What I'm doing? It's one of those things where it is messy, right? And then because it's such a solo journey, and we live it every day, every minute, every second, every hour.
It's living on time.
Right? It isn't. And then when we try to tag out of it or we try to connect someone to it, they're already in their own silo of it. And then they're trying to tap into what you're talking about, right? But then you're doing it in codes. As I mentioned, I'm doing my shit in codes. Like I'm giving you, hey, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, well, where's the beginning of that story? Where's the beginning, right?
Because you should know all this other 32 hours I spent thinking about this, right?
Exactly. Because and you know, my healing lives in a lot of that pondering.
Yeah.
And as entrepreneurs, we ponder even more.
That's right.
So it's one of those things where even on the pondering basis of our entrepreneurialism, I'll go to her with some entrepreneur stuff, right? And she ain't even ready for it.
Yeah.
But I am.
Yeah.
I'm sure as hell ready for it.
I've been past.
I've been ready 2 days ago. I've been holding this for 2 days, right? But it's like what you said, Grow, and you know, it's still delivering that. And that's the beautiful thing about marriage, right? In partnership is we're allowing your partner to say, hey, that didn't help me right now.
Yeah.
I don't even know where you're at with it.
Yeah.
Right? And this goes to a conversation we had, I think, in emotional tenderness when I was younger. That would affect me differently.
That's right.
I would take it more as a tough critique. When really she's just trying to say, understand where I'm at from your silo of healing. Go ahead. No, I'm landing there.
Are you landing? Well, first of all, y'all said so many good points, and it's hilarious. And what's really coming to me is everybody has their gifts, strengths, and weaknesses.
Yep.
And oftentimes our insecurity attacks them in specific ways. So what you're going through and what I'm going through, we could be going through the same thing, but we're going to receive it differently.
That's right.
Based upon our gifts, strengths, and weaknesses. And like, I just love what y'all said because like, I think in my head. I'm a thinker, epistemology. I'm thinking about thinking.
Mm-hmm.
They say, like, if you talk to yourself, you're crazy. Then I'm probably one of the craziest people because I be having.
I'm off the chart.
I'm crazy to the bottom.
I be having real conversations.
I'm off the chart.
I just work things out, and then I'll come to my girl like, yo, I think I want to do this for the business and this, and this. And if her energy, we talked about energy, doesn't match that, it hurts. I'm like, yo, babe, this is a dope thing I just thought about in my mind. I'm trying to bring it here to you, or I'm trying to work on this relationship, and you're just like, because she's in her own thing. Mm-hmm. And that's okay, but oftentimes when some of your trauma from previous experiences is not being valued and validated and seen, mm-hmm. and you go up to your partner and you interpret their excitement or lack of excitement of excitement not being seen, that hits differently. Mm-hmm. And I can hurt, that hurts. Yep. And so then, like, this is where it get messy. Like, did she mean that on purpose? Is this? And now I'm trying not to have my self-protective mechanisms come up. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Getting loud. Oh, see, I knew reaffirming old insecurities. That's right. And so just really being able to pause and take a breath and, like, I'm going to go and walk. Let me call Adam, but, like, every time you call me, you good? And how I respond to, you good? Like, no, I'm good. Like, no, I'm good. Like, no, he's like, no, no, I'm good. All right, you cool. But, like, I'm saying to, like, all the gentlemen or people out there, like, healing isn't easy and it's messy. And I love what you said about silos. Everybody has their own silo, but what you have to understand, what I've encouraged people to understand, as you going through your healing silo or your healing journey, your actions have not just affected you, they have affected other people. And your harm or the harm that you might have caused, they might not be on their healing journey yet. So you might be ready to forgive yourself and them to forgive you, but they might not be ready to forgive you.
Yeah. Come on. You said a mouthful on that one.
Like, and even bringing it back to those two spaces. Mm-hmm. How am I handling my own internal validation and communication with myself? As to something you said, Coach, I'm not just healing. I'm also actively being a husband. I'm actively being a dad. I'm actively launching a business. I'm actually launching. So you've got all of these things that you're doing, and then to your point, with all of the things that you're doing, part of being means I am now connected to the external environment. Mm-hmm. So when we think about the two spaces and everything that we just kind of talked about, and I think in each example, there's something it's a skill that we're not taught. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how we call the skill because I don't know what we name it, but there's something to be said for.
It's called psychic.
well, that's one. But I was going to say, I think there's something to be said for the space where we are going through trying to figure out how to communicate that as we are trying to also understand and be there for those other folks. And I think there becomes this space where in your interaction, even if I think about the one that I had, this is so exciting for me, so I need all your energy to be here, right? And I'm doing it. And the other person as well, too, right? It's that sort of, there's the internal validation that we do that for as much as it's sovereign to us, and for as much as it's us for us, it's actually how we apply it in the interaction with other people that we actually start to see if this thing works. So again, I called myself, but I miss catching that opportunity to sit with my impact to her.
Mm-hmm.
Because then we're still trying to solve for something that I actually talk about, which is the oxygen mask on.
Yeah.
When you put your own oxygen mask on first, for all the goodness that it is, it can still have an adverse impact on somebody else. Now, you don't necessarily, you can't own it because I got to breathe first. So, to your example, your oxygen mask filled you with this really great idea.
Yeah.
So now you fill with this oxygen, you ready, and she's in the throes of whatever. The expectation or the desire or the need for validation that somebody's going to meet me where my energy is every single time, or else my trauma flares up. Our work on our trauma is multi-layered. It doesn't even necessarily, in my mind, mean that thing is still front and center. It has a level of depth to it that, again, in that moment, if I just feel it, which is why going for a walk, I can go, was that trying to tell me something? Well, probably just told me I need to walk. And I'm like, I got my walk, okay, now I can come back. And by the time she come back, she may be in a different position. Right. Hey, the thing you was talking about, when we go and so saying and say, I think there's these two spaces, and I don't know what the term is and what it looks like, but how do we communicate as we're going through in a space where we feel like I understand it or I got it enough myself to tell it to you? Or is the condition between the two of us, whereas I can give you my ingredients as I'm still trying to put it together without you trying to tell me what I need to do to move to the next phase? So when you talk about that self-protection, those defense mechanisms, I think it's in that conversation where those defense mechanisms probably flare up the most, and they're going, is it too early for me to give you this? Because when I give it to you, I got to be prepared for, if it comes back to me, that I don't receive it as I'm an injured woman. But again, we talk about this space as men. If I give you this as my partner, are you going to throw it back to me in my face? So as you're going through something, if I give something to you too early before I figured out my root cause, are you going to use that point against me, right? And so those self-protection behavior, again, as I've been thinking about this conversation, really just turning this back over to y'all, that space of, there's the internal space you're navigating. And I love how you talked about that. Even as you're navigating that internal space, the impact to your 2-year-old don't care nothing about what you got going on this inside. Rob, I want to go outside. Right now, it's I got to get her outside, or I got to get this kid outside. Well, I say her in this case. I have my baby girls and her. So, but I think that's that space where this becomes. If you think about each example, we were all struggling, or not even a struggle, but you're sitting in the space of, do I even have it in myself to even give it to you? And do I capture myself before I try to capture sort of where you are? And it creates these spaces where, to you said, we can fall back into these mechanisms. We can start to make assumptions and now create these old stories of, why was this done to me in this moment? We've made it about something beyond what it is, which is, I actually did whatever it is I did the best that I knew how in that moment, and I don't know that I know how to give to you before I give to me, even though we've all done it before. But I think we all realize on the other side of that is we feel worse, or we feel less drained, more drained, right? And so
I see where you're going, bro. I think the heart, right? And correct me if I'm wrong. What I'm hearing you say, and I'm gonna pull it from my own vision here. Is that also, besides healing being messy and siloey, it's also a selfish space. Right? And you have to be selfish to heal. But when you're selfish, how does that come off?
The internal version of that too.
Right? You see what I'm saying? So I think it's almost this collection of things that come together. But what you said earlier too, and it made me think of something too, in the degree of like when you're like, I realized it. It was 5 minutes later, but I realized it, right? That's you healing in action, right? In the process of healing, where in her silo, she probably wasn't even thinking of healing. She wasn't even in the healing space, right? And you were all healing, right? And when I think of that, I think of a situation maybe a couple of weeks ago, like you, frustrated moment. Ruminations going on. And those ruminations were getting deeper, right? And we are usually
we love the people who are closest to us,
That's right.
but we also know because we love them, they can deal with this heat.
That's right.
They get the worst of it.
And we ain't gonna say that out loud.
That's right.
But we know they can deal with it because you're married to me. You got to deal with this heat. And I delivered some heat, and after that, it was probably not as fast as you, bro.
Yeah.
It was probably 20 minutes, you know.
Yeah.
And you find yourself in this space, and I was kind of like, what the hell was that?
Yeah, you start feeling.
I questioned myself, like, what the hell was that? Who is that dude? And I had to go to her like you, and I was like, you know, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I don't know where the hell I was
at.
Right? Right? But and vice versa, there's moments when she's in that healing silo and she brings something to me, and I am in getting shit done mode.
Yeah, I'm trying to get this bag.
Right?
Yes.
I'm in getting shit done mode, so that means my walls are halfway up, and all you can see is the eye.
Yeah.
And that's my silo kind of rising, right? Because selfishly, I need to like get in my silo and heal, because I feel as an entrepreneur, the more I heal and the more I work on myself, the more the fruits of my labor come.
Easy breeze. Yeah.
Right?
Money
So
to make.
I feel like there's this selfish space that puts it in a gray space, right? And then think about this. If you both come at the same time in that selfish space, what does that do?
Who's going to catch themselves first to rescue us?
Coach, you are hitting on so many levels. I told my girl, I just gave her gratitude the other day because I was like, you know what? I go to the gym early. I kiss her every morning, and I was going to the gym, and I kissed her, and I just told her I love her, and she was halfway asleep. I was like, I love you too, like. And I'm walking out, and I was like, Mike, you're a lot. And I am a lot. Like I think a lot. I creative. I got a motor. When I say I'm going to do it, it's done. I'm not going to stop. And sometimes there's a wake in my focus that people on the side sometimes get hurt. And I told her, I was like, I gave her gratitude when I got home. I was like, thank you for like loving me. With dealing with, not just dealing with loving all of me, not the things that other people like, but all parts of me. Because like, it kind of goes to what you were saying, like when I feel like I'm in a stage of becoming somebody that I've never been. And I feel like I have flow, I feel like I have creativity, and I feel locked in. Like I get that from time to time, but it's been for like 2 weeks. And so when I'm locked in, things are coming out, I'm just done. And then she'll come down and like, she literally brought this up to me. She's like, babe, it's like you've been ignoring me lately. I'm like, what do you mean? Like you hear me, but you don't. But you're not really like acknowledging it. And I'm like, babe, I am so sorry. I promise you, it's not me trying to ignore you. I'm just locked in, and I can hear what you're saying. I process what you're saying, and then that stuff got moved to the side because I'm here, and here. And if we're not in consistent communication, like she could resent that. And then I think on the opposite end, when she's locked in and I am not as locked in, or I'm more like, oh, this is my break day and stuff like that. When I'm trying to like, hey, babe, I'm trying to mess around. She's like, give me a second. And I'm just like, yo, I'm trying to work on our relationship. Right. And she's locked in. Like, what things kind of come up for me to be like, you say you want a vulnerable man, or you want me to be more outgoing and all these things, and I'm trying to be, and you're not reciprocating what I want, but you're in the locked in mode, but I'm not taking it as locked in mode. I'm taking it as you don't want to spend time for me, or I'm being vulnerable and you're shutting down my vulnerability, and I might feel a type of way.
I'm going to describe this now as the selfish silo syndrome. Because when you get in your silo, you are being selfish because you have to be. And so maybe syndrome is not it. And maybe syndrome is because there's two sides of it. One side is that you absolutely have to go and come inside to do the work. as you're doing the work, which is why we talk about this, as you're doing the work, you still got to live with all the other stuff around.
Yep.
And so then it becomes, if I think about this, the way you talked about this story gave both sides. There's a space where both people are being internally and externally selfish at the same moment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm internally feeling a high, and I need you to be ready to receive this internal high. But I can only see so much of your internal high because I'm locked in on what I'm doing.
Yep.
And it's not that I don't want to be there. I'm not. Well, you're not being selfish for being locked in. You're not being selfish for this. But are you being selfish for ignoring? I'm not ignoring you. I'm doing this thing. Well, you didn't stop to do this. Right. So now it's all of these things. And so then selfishness comes up in a way that I actually think we have made selfishness such a negative term that it sounds like even in breathing this, we kind of all need to recognize that part of us being selfish is saying, I'm breathing, I exist as this being, and part of what we have agreed upon is that you're going to meet these needs, and right now I need this need. And so there's a selfishness of timing that it's not always going to be in the natural order thing exactly at the same time.
Can I ask you this question? And I'm posed this.
Yeah.
Is it selfishness or is it a boundary?
So that's what I think in terms of, which is why I said we're both internally and externally coming at this from a selfish sort of perspective, right? The fact that you need to create the boundary, that's one thing. Your boundary doesn't stop that I've done this internal work and I'm super excited and I came home and you locked in. Mm-hmm. You locked in is because you hit this moment of, hey, you know what, maybe I was not doing that. You know what, bam, I just got this spurt that I needed, so I'm locked in. My moment of selfish internal, which is goodness, oxygen mask on. This person's we both put our oxygen mask on at the same time. And now that we got our oxygen mask on at the same time, we want the other person to drop their oxygen mask and so the hug us, and the other person say, well, I'm still feeling.
I see.
Right? So the boundary that I think that where selfishness I think becomes negative is that we take that boundary of recognizing somebody else's oxygen mask moment as they're doing something against me or about me. And that's where it becomes external selfishness of now I'm making judgments on you about how you're not meeting me for something when, I'm literally sitting here with my oxygen mask on. But again, our oxygen masks show up in different ways because some of them is, I just got this promotion at work, but yet you just got knee deep in what you was doing.
Yeah. Can I name this for the audience because I just learned something.
Let's go.
Taking care of you, being locked in or pouring into yourself your own silo healing journey is not selfishness. When you ask somebody to take off their mask, that's the selfish act. Because, I was like, selfishness. No, I don't think taking care of yourself is selfish at all. I think taking care of yourself is, and saying nothing's going to disrupt that is a boundary. And a lot of times, the most horrific boundary steppers are loved ones. They always stepping over the line.
So let's sit in this at the point of nuance here, and we may need to go up a little bit because maybe in this for us because I definitely want y'all feedback on this because I think what I'm trying to sort of sit at is that if at 3:00 she jumps off the couch and gets in and she's bang, locked in. 3:00 you upstairs, you get a call, you just got a gig. Neither one of y'all are being selfish for wanting to share it with the other person, although yours require you to run down and share right now, where hers is, I'm locked in. And so this is where we start to feel like slighted and rubbed the wrong way because now we're going, well, they should have been happy for my moment to the point of, well, you said, it's not necessarily take off their oxygen mask on, but it's be here for me in my moment because I don't think they're looking at it in a sense of, oh, you're oxygenating yourself here.
Right.
They're just looking at it from the perspective of, well, you wasn't here for me in this moment right here versus you going, 11 things and I was trying to get this thing down. And the moment you said it wasn't intentional, I was just locked in. But what ends up resulting is these conversations around selfishness and selfish behavior when I think that in the space of, again, we're all internally in our silo, doing what's needed to maintain our silo, our own sort of whatever. And oftentimes, to your point, the loved ones, the people around us, we naturally bump into folks when folks are in a silo mode just because of proximity and how we feel.
So maybe, to me, I'm trying to figure this out.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm talking about.
It's not the moment of selfishness. Isn't like, hey, I just got this gig, babe. You know, money's been hard. I need you to celebrate this. She's locked in. She can't. Maybe the moment of selfishness is the thought of she should be doing something else.
That's my point. Wait, that's what I said. It's internal and external. You're excited about your growth. Mm-hmm. That person not being able to meet you there, the first thing you do is that other piece, which is externally.
The narrative, the insecurity, when that came up.
But so if we take away narrative and insecurity, it's actually more germane to what we want in our helpmate. We all kind of, and maybe it's an expectation that we've been buried under, but there's this assumption that, or there's this expectation that our partners are going to celebrate all of our moments right there. And so there's this thing, and so that's what I mean. Is it selfish or more so we sort of getting into this piece of, well, bam, we see our kids doing this well too. My daughter's going there with what she got from school, and her expectation is that you need to read this right now. You need to celebrate right now. And I'm going, calling something right now. Like, I'm going to get it. But in her moment, you can sort of see in her face that I couldn't sort of stop. So I have to sit with her and be like, hey, when you came to Dad with this is this. But there's a period of time where I can't sit and give her anything because I'm focused on this thing. And so I'm not sort of, I am asking the question that, because I think to your point where you said there's this run towards it, I think there's this, we're not doing it, but I think what people receive as, right, and again, boundaries start to get into that. Mothers do it all the time. My kids don't give me the time and space in my bathroom by myself. But what we don't realize is that for mothers, kids associate you with being in the bathroom with them. So when you're in the bathroom, I've been in the bathroom my whole life. Now you're telling me I can't come into the bathroom with you? It becomes a change where they're now growing into a space where this was acceptable and okay. Well, we're now trying to create some of this space here. As we're growing, we're building new boundaries. We're sort of in this thing, but there's an organic space where I think some of these maybe slights happen because we're not consciously aware of the grace of, well, you know what? Maybe he just locked in. You know what? I'm going to come back a little bit later. And now I'm giving all grace versus.
Babe, I see you locked in, but when you're done, we about to celebrate.
So, which means we got to learn how to communicate in that way of being done. But then because we're so in our growth space and we're thinking about, hey, I just did this thing. I just did this thing is not rooted in, wait, let me preface this for you. No, I'm just super excited. And it's just natural and organic. So I think sometimes the conversation of selfish sits in the space of, I think we're just not recognizing that somebody is sitting in their silo or whatever their zone of genius is to do something that in that moment, this is what I need to lock in on. Because I've been waiting on this thing to happen and now I got to sort of lock in again. Because we've all had it, right? Where somebody come in, the moment you get started and you be like, and it's like, well, why you got that? No, it ain't about you.
I'm like, I just sat down.
That's right. It ain't about you, but I'm just.
I think it's a little bit of a few things. I think one, there's nervous system at play. And nervous system speaks.
Yeah, it does.
Right? And then as humans, we love to share good news.
Yeah.
We can't wait to get out of their mouth.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
So you have those two pieces. Nervous system. And then you have that other piece of, I just want to share. I don't give a fuck if you ain't ready.
That's right.
I just want to share it.
That's right.
Because once I share it, someone else knows it. Because what I want from this is validation.
Right?
So it's those connection pieces of nervous system going off of both parties. The nervous system of, I want to share it, I want to get it out there. And then my nervous system telling me, let me go over there and just tell my wife. And my wife is in a zone. Her nervous system is saying, leave me the fuck alone. Right? But our nervous system ain't catching that message.
We ain't trying to.
And it goes back to I love the selfish silo. We're going to have to call this episode the selfish silo. But it goes back to that. Right? That I think it can live in two places, that selfishness, whether it's positive and negative.
right? Because y'all pointed at some negative
That's
pieces,
right.
right?
That's right.
Assuming that you're ready to hear this
That's absolutely right.
when I'm ready to perform it for you, right?
That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right.
And my nervous system just went ahead and assumed your whole day right now, right? The
Right.
next 2 hours you listening to me, right?
That's right.
So I feel like it's that nervous system, it's the sharing, because good news is good news, and it makes it. I want to share that. And as entrepreneurs, good news is even bigger.
Oh my God! I can see a bill being paid down there, right? It's all of
It's a forecast.
It's all of this good stuff,
And it relates to that person, especially as your partner, right? You live with. You know me struggling.
I need
Exactly. Nervous system right there.
You saw me crying.
The justification, because what we want at the end is to be validated.
That's right. That's right.
We want it to be recognized.
Healing is personal, but healing was never meant to be alone. The work we do within ourselves matters, but the true test of healing is how we show up with the people we love. Can we communicate before assumptions take over? Can we acknowledge our impact while still honoring our intentions? Can we make space for someone else's journey while continuing to walk our own? Because healing is not about becoming perfect. It is about becoming more aware, more connected, and more willing to repair. Thank you for joining us at the healing table. Keep doing the work, keep having the conversations, and remember, there is always a seat for you here.